Hello everyone, my name is Sapna. I am a mentor working with one of the SRLMs. Hello everyone, I am Kusum. I am a Vitta Sakhi and I am supported by my mentor Sapna Madam. NRLM has taken the initiative of supporting women entrepreneurs in SHGs for individual enterprise loans. I and my Vitta Sakhi Kusum will discuss about different aspects related to this initiative, and we hope that you all will also find our conversations helpful. So, let's start.
Technical terms in enterprises. Hello everyone. This is a video on technical terms in enterprises. In this video, we will learn about the technical terms used in enterprises specifically: sales, purchase, cost of goods sold, variable and fixed cost, gross margin and net profit, inventory or stock, cash and credit sale. It will be important for the Vitta Sakhi as well as for the NRLM officials and mentors to understand the technical terms used in enterprises. Good understanding of these terms will help Vitta Sakhis and officials to fill loan applications accurately. It will also help the officials and Vitta Sakhis to better understand the banker's technical requirements for loan assessment and to fulfill them. So, let us begin. The first term that we will understand is sales. Sales. Sales is the total revenue that an enterprise earns in a certain period in exchange for the goods and services provided by the enterprise. Sales can also be referred to as the revenue of the enterprise. Purchase. Purchase is the cost of goods or services that were procured by an enterprise within a period. Enterprise may purchase various goods and services as input to either resell or to use them for further production of final goods. For example, a shopkeeper purchases goods from a supplier. She pays for these goods. This is purchase. The shopkeeper then sells the goods to her buyers. She receives payment for this. This is sales. Cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is a very important concept in enterprises. It is the direct cost of goods and services that were sold within a period. Here, it is important to note that it is the cost of only those goods that were sold during a period and not the cost of total purchases that were made during that period. Let us understand this with an example. Suppose a Kirana store purchased 200 bags of rice in the month of March and the cost of each bag was Rs 100. So, the total purchase for March is 200 times 100, which is Rs 20,000. Now, the shopkeeper sold 150 bags of rice in that month of March. The cost per bag we know is Rs 100. Then the cost of goods sold is 150 times 100, which is Rs 15,000. So now we can see that while purchase for the month is Rs 20,000, the cost of goods sold for that month is only Rs 15,000. Cost of goods sold is an important concept in understanding the gross margins and net profits. So now let us understand what gross margin means. Gross margin is when we subtract the cost of goods sold in a period from the total sales in that period. In other words, from our total sales, when reduce the direct costs of those goods sold, then we are left with the gross margin, also called gross profit. In the above example of Kirana store, if each rice bag is sold in the market for Rs 120, then by selling 150 bags in March, the total sales of the Kirana store was 150 times 120, which is Rs 18,000. Since the cost of goods sold was Rs 15,000, the gross margin is Rs 3,000. That is, Rs 18,000 minus Rs 15,000. Gross margin can be expressed as a percentage. It can be calculated by dividing the gross margin amount with the total sales and multiplied by 100. So, in this case, the margin percentage is Rs 3,000 divided by Rs 18,000 and multiplied by 100, which is 16.67%. That is the gross margin percent. Different businesses may have different margins. Let us now understand variable cost, fixed cost, and net profit. The gross margin that we talked about is not equal to net profit of the business. We have only so far subtracted the direct cost of the goods sold from the total sales. As you can see that the direct costs are directly dependent on the volume of sales. More the sales, more will be the cost of those goods sold. So this type of cost, which is directly proportional to sales, is called variable cost. It directly changes with the volume of sales. However, in any business there are other expenses also, such as rent, wages, overhead costs, interest on loans, etc. You see, these costs are not dependent on sales. You have to bear them irrespective of the volume of sales. These costs are therefore called fixed costs. These costs have to be met through the gross margin left. After subtracting all these other costs from the gross margin, we get the net profit. In our example, if we assume that the Kirana store had fixed cost of Rs 2000 in that month, then the net profit for the month is only Rs 1000. We can also calculate net profit percentage by dividing the net profit with sales and multiplying by 100. In this example, we get net profit margin of 5.55%. The next concept that we will understand is of stock, which is also called inventory. For smooth operations of a business, the business needs to hold stock of various goods. This stock can be of raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. Inventory is always valued in terms of cost. It is not valued at what price the goods will be sold. Estimating the value of inventory is important for estimating profits. Estimation of inventory helps in estimating the goods that were sold and in estimating the cost of goods sold. Let us understand this with an example. Suppose on 1st March you had 20 bags of rice in your stock. We call this opening stock for the month of March. Then, during the month of March, you purchased 220 bags of rice. You also sold certain bags of rice during the month. And on the last day of March, that is 31st March, you were left with 50 bags. We call this closing stock for the month of March. So, can you tell how many bags were sold? You can pause here and think. We can estimate the bags sold by first taking the opening stock, then adding purchases during the period and subtracting the closing stock. So, with this, we know that in the month of March, 190 bags were sold. Now suppose each bag's cost was Rs 100, then we can estimate the cost of goods sold as shown. So the cost of goods sold during the month of March was 190 times 100, which is Rs 19,000. We can also estimate this by adding the value of opening stock to value of purchases and subtracting value of closing stock. So, from the expression shown here, we know that the cost of goods sold is dependent on the value of stock. It is very important to estimate the stock value accurately to estimate the costs and the profits accurately. One last concept that we will understand in this video is of cash and credit sale or purchase. Any sale for which the payment is received immediately at the time of sale is called cash sale. On the other hand, any sale for which the payment is not received immediately but will be received in the future is called the credit sale. The party that owes money to the business is called the debtor. Similarly, on the purchase side, if the payment for any purchase is made immediately at the time of purchase, it is called the cash purchase. But if the payment for any purchase will be made in the future, then it is called the credit purchase. In credit purchase, the party to which the business owes the money is called its creditor. So, in this video, we learned about the various technical terms used in the context of enterprises. We learned about sales, purchase, cost of goods sold, variable and fixed cost, gross margin and net profit, inventory, cash and credit sale and purchase. Hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.